I'm not writing another book. Not about this, not about this crime. And it, I'm not doing it to make any money. I'm giving this to you. This is not for anybody. No, I'm not writing another book.
Welcome back to part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 of Cadlegate, I recommend that you give it a quick look. I talked a lot in the first part about what my thoughts are Cadle is doing, and I think grooming would be an appropriate term to consider. There are 6 stages of grooming, and in this video we're just going to go through all the different correspondences and statements that Miss Cadle has made over the past year, and how she continues to contradict herself. And in my opinion, I think this book is an attempt to exploit this tragedy even further for money specifically, because as we've heard just several months ago, she had no plans of going back and writing a second book. So sit back, relax, and I don't think I have to narrate through this. You can see everything for yourself. I will be also putting all of the links to all the sources that I've used in this video in the description box. And stay tuned also for the announcement of when we're going to be going live to answer your questions. At the end of the video, I've included my email for you to send me tips or questions that you would like for us to address during that live. So feel free to email us. Thank you and enjoy.
Okay. This is chapter 29. Was there a dark spirit? After the sentencing and months after Christopher is in prison, some things have surfaced to cause us to pause and take notice. Well, a lot of things actually surfaced, didn't they? I believe there are some things that can maybe prove there was some dark activity going on. If you take a man who has been completely passive and easygoing his whole life, by all that know him, love him, and think he's great, including his wife, then how is it explained that over a course of a few weeks he changes into a monster and unleashes the most horrific act possible and kills a pregnant wife and 2 little girls? Does it really happen like that, or is there much more to it? Through research, I have come across some information about NK. I'm sure the FBI probably already know these things, but it was not brought public. I'll let you as the readers decide if there is anything to any of this that would connect her in any way. Nikki was involved in a movement called Gaia Worship, and that's Gaia. The new pagan religion, environmentology.com is where you can find out about it. Nicole Kessinger had a business called Satya, Satya Consulting, LLC, at 3631 Aurora, Colorado. Satya is an important concept and virtue in Indian religions. The word Satya means truth, but the Latin word for it is Satan. So Satya is a company based off an Indian guru named Satya, Sathya, Narayana Raju. He basically created the cult and claimed to be God. He performed miracles and claimed he was omnipresent, claimed he could heal, and that there were disasters that had happened because he was recruiting all these cult members. So he was telling them that certain disasters that had happened around that time, that he had caused them, to prove to them that he was God. And sometimes mind control or brainwashing was going on with him. In Greek mythology, the word Satya means Satan, and this cult is all over the world being used as counseling, where they brainwash and hypnotize their clients until they are broken down so they can build them up to be a cult member and recruit them. It's interesting that only 3 days after after it came out that Christopher talked to the FBI, she suddenly closed the business. And we do not know if she closed it because she didn't want to be found out, or if she was trying to avoid media attention, or of course there could be any other reason, but it was odd that she closed it only 3 days later. Okay, Christopher didn't know what she was doing in this business. He didn't know. He said he didn't really understand what was going on, but knew there were some things he was purposely being kept from. He said that she had crystals all over her house. She wouldn't go anywhere without her crystals, without some crystals with her, and he just assumed she collected them. She did, but I don't think for the reason he thought. When they were in the mountains, she had a crystal that she took and she held it up towards the sky and chanted. When he asked her about it, she said she was talking to her grandmother through that. In the discovery, it shows that Christopher searched 2 hours for jewelry. It was actually for a crystal that NK wanted, and he said he didn't understand it and now does not remember much as to why he was looking for it. He says he believes it was either green or reddish, and you said it was red, Alan.
Yeah.
When Christopher was with NK, there would be times he would fall asleep, and when he woke up, he would pick up where he left off like he had never fallen asleep, yet an hour or 2 had passed. Could this have been a trance or hypnotism? We don't know for sure because Christopher says he doesn't remember. I'm asking, the readers, did this contain any drug? We don't know. Christopher says he doesn't know if it contained a drug. And an article that I read states that you can use, and I have to spell this, dioptase, it's DIOP, as in Paul, TASE. Now, I would be real interested if anybody has any knowledge of what that is. But that you can use dioptase to open you up for the preparation for this awakening. So, can this explain some of the stomach pain that he says he had? I know he talked about
symptoms.
Also, if you open a spirit portal, you can't really control what comes out of that portal, can you? Interesting. Kundalini is actually a service her friend that she was in business with offers. So NK is very familiar with this procedure. So she was taught basically how to do this awakening procedure. So is this a cult who stake his soul, or was it simply exploring pagan lifestyle, which is super common these days with the youth? Could be that NK was motivated to have him for herself, which we know we have seen signs of that. And there is called AI, symbolic relationship between Earth and all living things. That's what you were talking about. Gaians believe that life harmony is based upon three things: the mind, the body, and the spirit. All three must be aligned to be complete. While yoga also centers around these tenets, yoga philosophy or religion. There is a branch of Gaian philosophy which is a form of pagan religious practice similar to Wicca or witchcraft. We believe there is a possibility that NK was a follower of this form of worship. Now, let me back up one thing. Witchcraft or Wicca is not necessarily meant for evil. Wicca is taught to be kind to people, to do no harm. But this is saying that it's similar to maybe in the chants and the practice really similar to the Wicca. So mind is often aligned with meditation. NK would hike and disappear for hours, Christopher said, as well as, and so he wondered if that was because of her meditation. And also chakra alignment. Sometimes drugs are used to attain enlightenment or open up the mind as well. So, if you put that together there, is that all correlated together? Crystals are another common tool used in this new age practice. We know that NK had crystals and carried them at all times. The crystals are energy tools used to manifest intentions. The body is healed with macro diet as well as fasting, all of which NK did and had started Christopher into doing that. Spirit is aligned with channeling dreams, channeling spirits, healing through energy, and Kundalini awakening, which is really interesting to me because he speaks in the book, I've got in there several times, of dreams that he talks about having leading up to the murders. Spirit is aligned with channeling dreams, I already said that, and the Kundalini awakening. These are just a few examples. If you experience an awakening, it is an intense physical and mental experience. It can be an emotional breakthrough, but can also unearth deeply buried emotions or past experiences held deep within your psyche. What happens when our Kundalini awakens? If the Kundalini is awoken, the energy is said to rise up from the base of the spine, from the root chakra, which in parable has been referred to as the base of the mountain. The energy ascends to the peak, which correlates with the crown chakra and the pineal gland. Urban Tantra says that sacred sex for the 21st century was a way of getting this. When the pineal gland is activated, a major change in consciousness is experienced. Be aware and know the signs and symptoms of Kundalini awakening, and to be aware of the changes that may occur so that you have spiritual practices and support of masters to guide you through. So it says, so how to awaken the Kundalini energy. The awakening of Kundalini requires the prana or life force enter into the Sushumna or central channel. This occurs when the prana is withdrawn from its fixation through the thought process on the external world. This may cause spiritual distress and a total breakdown, resulting in a massive crisis. Some people lose jobs and relationships. Others experience difficulties as if the trauma is being relived in the moment. The test is whether they can overcome and learn from the past or be beaten from an earlier. If you are well trained and guided with strong and steady spiritual practices, you are more likely to manage these astonishing changes and sensations. It is sensible to follow a particular path to be trained, to know the signs and symptoms of Kundalini awakening, or to be aware of the changes that may occur. Take heed, awakenings may not. Practitioner is unprepared, awakens spontaneously. There can be an experience of total inner chaos due to changes in motivation, appearance, diet, weight gain or loss, sensations in the crown of the head, and shifts in personality that an unguided and or underprepared person might not be able to handle. Let me repeat that. If a practitioner is unprepared or the Kundalini awakens spontaneously, there can be an experience of total inner chaos due to the changes in motivation, appearance, diet, and shifts in personality that an unguided and or underprepared person might not be able to handle. A spontaneous arousal of Kundalini energy can happen as a result of intense energy work, drug use, sexual experiences, abuse or trauma, yoga practices, or life events. A Kundalini awakening is not so much a physical force, but the movement of the energy of the subtle body. Therefore, you cannot undergo an awakening without taking the right steps to open and purify the channels of the subtle body. If you are not rightly prepared, a Kundalini awakening might cause a ruckus that might feel like a breakdown. Take caution as you explore awakening the serpent energy within you. And so we do know by Christopher's account that NK was getting him ready for something. She planned out a diet plan for him, had very strange sexual habits, and Christopher said she did cleanses. He is not sure what was in the cleanses or if they have contained drugs. When he says he was completely drawn into her, it makes sense. Don't you think that would completely draw him into her? That's the end of it.